Hey everybody, today I want to go through all 32 NFL teams and tell you which logos I like the most. I will try and leave any sort of historical significance to the logo out of it and just talk about which ones I like based off of personal preference. For example, logos like the Steelers, Raiders, Packers, Cowboys, I won't try and be like, "Oh, well that's such a, historical logo. I can't put it anywhere but S." If I don't like it, I'm not going to put it there. I'm gonna look at this from the perspective the best I can to say like, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen these logos. However, if the team has an older logo I like more, I do want to bring it up to maybe show as to why I might have it lower than I normally would. I hope that makes sense. So I'm gonna go here alphabetically. At least I'm pretty sure they're alphabetical. I didn't set this list up, but we're gonna start with Arizona, work our way to Washington. So first, Cardinals, I think that's a solid B. I wouldn't change anything about it. It's just not one of my personal favorites, but I do think it is a really good logo. I think it's as perfect as you can get for having a cardinal as a logo. It's intimidating enough, not too cartoony. Colors work really well together. And yeah, it's just kind of in the middle. I don't know where else to put it. Falcons, I'll put up an S because it is one of my favorites. I will say I don't know if their logo is actually like this, but I am noticing there's like a gray outline around the Falcon. I think it would be better if it was maybe black. I think that would probably look better than the gray, but I don't know if maybe that's just whoever these were gotten from. There's certain outlines around some that are there and some that really aren't, but I never studied the logo that closely, but as a logo, it being a falcon in the shape of an F looks really good. The colors are really good together. And one thing that I do like that I will mention that I do like logos to be kind of like symmetrical to each other. So if a team reaches the Super Bowl, this is where it really only matters to me. If we have two logos that are matched up with each other in a Super Bowl and they look really good with each other, I like that a lot. Not saying that's going to influence the game in any way, but I think it just looks better for like the what's the word? Like the promotion of the game. So having logos that look really good symmetrically up against each other will kind of be an influence to this. Where some of them that I don't think really look good at all will be in that. They'll be in whatever tier they're in. So I'll get to them. There are some that are late in this, and there are some that are early. So Baltimore, really good logo. Definitely wouldn't change anything. Maybe I would like to see without the B, but I do think the B kind of adds to it. Just it's enough gold. Don't know if they've ever done that. I think the B's always been there, but I also don't think that this is their first logo. Either way, I think that's pretty good. Just wouldn't mind seeing it without it just to see what it looks like, but I don't know if I would change it or not. Uh, Bills, probably one of my favorites. I think for having a charging buffalo that's blue, it looks really good. I don't know what other color would look good on that because I honestly wouldn't use an actual buffalo color. And then having the red accent it is really good. Normally, I'm not a big fan of teams using the just red, white, and blue. It's kind of overdone. But there are certain teams that I think it makes look really like it looks better. We'll get to those teams, but as is this logo, I think it's pretty good, and I wouldn't change anything. It's one of my favorites. Panthers, another one. I'm not ranking these in any sort of order. I'll just tell you which ones are my top three, and this is one of them. I don't know which one. Probably I'd say this is third, but I do really like it. I think it's enough black, enough of the blue, and then there's just enough white to kind of like add some detail, and it doesn't overdo it at all. Whereas before, when they had it, there was like some silver in there or some white that was, I think, a little bit too much, and I think this improved it. So next is, I think it's one of the more boring logos. Now, I feel like they did it because they want to make it look like more old style because they're, I'm pretty sure, the oldest NFL team and I think that's why they did it. But I'm going to be doing this for some of the teams. I'm going to pull up their logo that I really wish that they would have had. Now, this was the logo that they used for a while, this bear right here. If that was still their logo, it would probably be an S or at least an A. It's one of the two, but they're using the C, and I think it's just kind of boring. It doesn't look bad on the helmet per se, but I just don't think it's all that interesting, and there has to be, logos that are in that category. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's straight up like awful or anything. Like, I really don't hate any of these. That is one thing I will say. I think the NFL has mostly good logos, but I do think it's one of the more boring ones, and that's why I put it there. Bengals, I like a little bit more than most people, and their other logo, the Bengal Tiger logo, that would have been one of my favorites. This one, or what, I don't know which one shade was actually right. If not, maybe both of them at one point. But this logo, I think if that was their fit, or if that was their main logo, if I was just starting to watch football for the very first time, why am I getting mail? If I was just watching football like for the very first time, like today, that logo, that Bengals logo, along with the colors, would probably make me a Bengals fan over a Packers fan. So that's how much I like it. But the B as is still really good because they added stripes to it, and for making it just a plain B, it's got just enough to make it better than some other just lettered logos like the Bears and some other ones coming up that I do think are a little bit boring. But none of them, like I said, are none but one, I guess, or maybe two are bad. The Browns, I do think it's kind of stupid. So that's why I'm putting it like bottom. Like, I'm going to look up these other logos. They just have come out with, like, I don't know if it's an alternate or what. This is their new logo that I don't think it's their main one. I think it's just their, like, new alternate, which that's better than the helmet. It's a little bit cartoony, maybe, but it's still better. I just think that's just boring, and it's just kind of stupid. Why would you make just, like, a football helmet? I don't know. They had so many, like, finalists for, there was a different one that I saw here. I like this one a lot. That one's probably my favorite. I like that one because it adds in the B, their other like alternate, because they've got like 50 different alternates. They've also got the elf guy. That one, and that one are probably my favorites. But I like all of them. I'd take any of those ones over the helmet. I just think it's kind of stupid. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's like god awful or anything, but it's just in a list that has to have S through D. Those two, I think, are definitely in the D category. Dallas Cowboys, not a personal favorite, but I think is a strong logo for being just a simple star. The colors work really well, and I definitely wouldn't change anything. It's one of the more recognizable ones to anyone who maybe doesn't watch football. They'll look at that and be like, oh, I think that's the Dallas Cowboys logo. So yeah, I think it's, again though, that is me trying to avoid the historical significance or notability or whatever the word I'm searching for, but that does at least play a factor into, people look at it and they know it. So Broncos, I think this logo, a lot of people liked their older one that was like I don't know what you'd call it. It's like shooting a laser. Oh, it's smoke. I always thought, like, without looking at it closely, I always thought it was like shooting a laser beam out of its mouth, because I always saw it at like a distance or like on something. Like, that is what I saw, like some small little image, and I was like, why is there a horse shooting a laser beam out of its mouth, but it's blowing smoke out of its nose? Okay, I don't like that as much. If that was their logo, it'd be C, because it's still not bad. I don't hate it, but I don't think it's as good. And then the Lions. This one's tough because, like, I've had to do this list a couple times for different reasons. I had the OBS crash or closed on me. Then the next time, the computer just like froze. It's just like, okay, I've had to do this list now like twice, and every time I like look at the logo and I move it. First, I had it in C because I was like, it's just the colors that I like. But then I was like, I looked at it more. I'm like, well, that's the colors matter. And I was like, if it wasn't for the colors, on some of these they'd all be bad. But the logo isn't bad, and I think it works symmetrically with some other ones. So that, and then I was like, okay, well then it's a B. And then I was like, well, all of it together, it's an A. And I was like, so I don't know. So I'm kind of like torn here. I'll put it in B. I'm going in between A and C. We'll do that because it's still a good logo. Like the colors a lot, and it's definitely not as bad as the C, which is still not bad. But yeah, well, I think that's fair. There's going to be most of them are going to be in A and B. I'll just say that. Packers, they're my favorite team. They're not my favorite team because of the logo, but I do think it's a good logo. For a team that's called the Packers, really, what can you do other than just make the G? It's a simple G. I mean, it is a very weird shaped G, I guess. But I do think the colors work well with that G, where the G's white, the background is green, and the outline around it is yellow. Whereas I'm not a big fan of the Georgia Bulldogs logo. It's black, red, and white. I don't like that as much. Where that looks much better to me. So I think it's a good logo. I'm not going to say it's my favorite because I think that'd be too much bias, and it's not my favorite. But it is one of my favorites, I'll say. So it's in A, not quite S. Texans is a great logo that is, again, not one of my personal favorites, but I can't help but say whoever did some of these graphic designers are doing like really good jobs, even like the old ones. This is a newer team. I think this is technically the newest team of the 32. But that logo is for a team called the Texans. What can you really do? So someone was probably like, okay, well, what represents Texas? Like Bulls. We don't want to copy the Cowboys and, just do like a star because, this is the Lone Star State. But they still have it in there, and they have it as the eye. It's a bull skull, and it's got the red, white, and blue for Texas. So I think it's really good. It's not a personal favorite, but I do really like it. So yeah, one thing I do want before I continue, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, that I might do this also with the NHL logos. I definitely will with the NHL logos, but whether I do it with the NBA and MLB, I'm not sure. If you do want to see me talk about those logos, I will, because I don't watch MLB or NBA, so I don't even know all the logos other than recently I just looked at them all just to see which ones I like and which ones I don't, but like I don't remember them. So that one would be interesting. But NHL, I have a pretty firm like understanding, just like with this, where I look at them and I'm like, okay, I know I like that one, or no, I don't like that one. So because I see them so much. But next on to the Colts. I like this one more than most people. A lot of people want that new logo that I'll pull up here. I don't. I think because I already typed all these in. Yeah, couldn't remember if I did. But this is what people want, and I'm not saying that's terrible. I don't like it as much. I like just this simple horseshoe. This seems weird. Like, I know that's probably the state of Indianapolis. I don't know. I think if they got rid of the shape of Indianapolis or whatever that's supposed to be in there, and maybe just the horseshoe C, then maybe that'd be fine. But I just still think that just the regular horseshoe is just good the way it is. I don't think they should change it. Jaguars, I think, is probably the most detailed logo, and I really like it. Like, it's in my top 2. I don't know if it's my favorite or not. It's kind of tied, honestly. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, whoever designed that did a lot of like detail on that face. It's intimidating. It looks just like a jaguar. It's got the spots of a jaguar. The only thing that it doesn't have is the color of the tongue is not. At least I don't think they're teal. And then the eyes are really good, but just enough teal in there, just to like accent the like gold or orange or not orange, the yellow or whatever. I think it's more like a gold and white with the black. So all their colors are in there, and there's not too much of one color. It all accents each other perfectly. So yeah, I think that's a great logo. Chiefs is an arrowhead with a K and a C in it, and we'll get to the other team that used to be a Native American name team. We'll cover that, but I do like the shape that it's an arrowhead, but it is a little bit too simple. I feel like I'm not going to say change it because I definitely don't think they should change it because we don't need any other stupid controversial topic of a team name or logo or both. So I don't want to put it in A, but I think it's better than C. I guess, yeah, B is, I think, fair. I don't think it's quite good as D's, though. I feel like the lack of color is a little bit boring, but there's no other team that I can think of that has, anything like that. So I do have to give it kind of like originality where it's an arrowhead. And so I'll keep it in B. And then the other team that I would say, if it's not my first, it's second logo, the Chargers. So this was the team that I was saying. There's two teams that, if I was just starting to watch football today, it's either the Bengals or Chargers would be my favorite. They're not, but they're both up there amongst my favorites. I think their colors are both great. Their logos are both good, although I think this Chargers logo is better than the B. I wouldn't change anything about either of their colors. The logo for the Chargers, I would change the Bengals one, but I don't think it's bad. And as is, I think you can't improve on that. The Lightning, for example, the Tampa Bay Lightning have like a regular looking lightning bolt, where I like that too. But this, I don't know, it looks better on like a football helmet. I just think that the way it like curves perfectly with the helmet, and I guess I'll look it up. I haven't done that yet, but the way the helmet is shaped, I just think that's perfect. I don't know. I've never seen that before, but that's interesting. I don't know if I'd like it more or not, but yeah, I just think everything that, like, whoever does their design, whatever you want to call it, their graphic design, their marketing for their team colors, everything. I've never seen anything bad come from this team, although I don't really love the yellow pants look that they have going, but they don't use it all that much, and I don't totally hate it. I just think it's a little bit too much yellow, but anyway. Now, going complete opposite, we have the LA Chargers with the same colors as the LA Rams, but I think the LA Chargers logo is great, whereas the LA Rams is pretty bad. I don't want to say it's D, because there is still some sort of creativity that went into that. But comparing this to even this, like, I don't know who was like, oh, you know what, we'll go with the LA. Like, if that was their alternate, that's fine. But I just think that this Ram is much better. Even though it's not as detailed as... Okay, where was it? Here. This is, I still think, their best one. Maybe change the colors to more this, and it would look fine. Like, yeah, that looks fine. Like that. I don't know why they had to go with this weird A with the ram horn thing. It just looks ugly. I don't like it. If it's your favorite, that's fine. Obviously, this is my opinion. But, yeah, I think it's one of the more, like, team changes that just didn't work at all. I don't know why they did that. I guess they just wanted to, like, since we're moved to LA, we're just completely rebranding everything. But Miami Dolphins is an A, but would be an S if it was the other logo that I grew up with, which is the one with the football helmet. Now, I'm curious what people think, if they like this one or their new one, because there's part of me that still think, like, I obviously put an A for a reason because I do like it. If you use this dolphin with the colors of that sun and that sun itself, I feel like that could look good, or at least change. Because I do feel like that orange is a little almost too red. That looks more like sun orange. So I do like that one more, but I don't know. I just think that logo's better. I like the dolphin with the football helmet. He looks like intimidating. He looks, I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of like a nostalgia thing because I grew up with that thing. And that would be S. That would be top 5 logos. I'm trying to keep 5 in there, and those are like the 5 that are significantly better to me than all the other ones, or at least just above the A's. But I would knock one of those out to put in the Dolphin logo. So that's how much I like that old one. Miami Vikings, yeah. Minnesota Vikings is an A. Yeah, I'd say it's an A. One thing I do have to say here, or I have to bring up, Central Catholic. I think this was Central Catholic. So this is a high school around me. They're called the Vikings. This was their old logo. I think it was. Yeah, it was. So I live in Pittsburgh, and I don't know how close Central Catholic is to me, but I saw it all the time, and I was like, why is there so many Vikings fans in Pittsburgh? And then I was like, wait, there's this yellow, and then I saw the purple helmet, and I was like, they're called the Central Catholic Vikings. So I was like, how did they get away with that? Taking their logo, did they like have to pay them? And then I was seeing the Eagles is another one. I don't know who they are, but there's some Eagles team around here that is literally the same exact logo. They just took away like some of the black and they added like more white. It's like, okay, that's how they're getting away with that. I don't know, but that logo is really good. Wouldn't change it. Just enough purple to accent the yellow, purple and white to accent the yellow. Patriots, same thing. Like I said, I don't normally like red, white, and blue, but you can't have a team called the Patriots without that. It's, I think, much better than the Pat the Patriot. Where is it? I had it. I'm not saying this is bad because I still do like this, but I think the colors on this are a little, like, those colors are better than that. I don't know. I think just the blue is a little too bright. That one's pretty good too, but I don't know. I just think that that's more of a professional football team logo. Where this is a good retro logo that if they use it every once in a while, I'm fine with that. But I don't think it's a good primary. New Orleans Saints, that's really close to being an S, but it's not quite there. Because I do really like it. It's a fleur-de-lis, and it's, I guess, at least this is my guess. I don't know for sure. It's supposed to be, I think it's something from France, and everything that came over from France to the French Quarter in New Orleans. I think that's where it came from. I've never researched it. That's just what I've heard. Is it's something from the French Quarter that came from France that fits New Orleans, and I agree it does very much so. For some reason, fit the look of New Orleans. I don't even know if it's supposed to. It looks like to me it's supposed to be the tip of a spearhead. I don't know if it's something else. I don't even know what a fleur-de-lis is. I just know that's what it's called. But I do like it. And I think those colors look great. So, New York Giants, I think it's a little bit boring. I don't think it's bad. I just don't like it as much. I don't know. It's about as equal as the LA Rams one, whereas I think the New York Giants have done the best they could with a name like the Giants. Like, what really could you do? Whereas the LA Rams is that low, more out of disappointment. It's like, dude, you've had better logos. Why did you go backwards? So, and that LA one has grown on me since it first came out. When it first came out, I literally was like, that is almost as bad as the Browns, where it's like just a boring helmet. So, it's not quite there anymore, but yeah. Jets, it's somewhere in between a C and a B. And I do think, again, like, it could be worse. And I don't know if I like the Jet or that better, but I'm going to put it there because I do think that it's still not terrible. Like, I look at it and I'm like, it's fine. And I do think it fits, everything about that fits New York very well. So, and I do like the colors. So, it's not bad. I think it still could be a little bit better where, like, that, I think that's as good as you can get. And that is just like you kind of went backwards. Raiders, I think I don't love the shield, but I do think it adds to it. I don't know if it'd be better without it or not. I feel like the word Raiders maybe if you remove I don't know. It's like tough. Like Jets there, if you don't have a jet, then you kind of have to say Jets. So like Raiders, I almost want to move these down, but I don't feel that they're that bad. So like I almost want to keep them in B, but I like these ones so much more. So it's like if there was like a C plus, that's where I'd put them. So I'm gonna keep them there because the colors of the Raiders logo, everyone likes black and silver. Well, not everyone, but I mean, a lot of people like the black and silver together. So I do have to say for that, and then the fact that it's got the old football helmet on there, it's a good logo, one of the more recognizable logos. So it's gonna go in B instead of C. I don't think it's that bad. Eagles, definitely a good logo. I like that it's different, how it faces that way instead of that way, which for you guys it's going to be backwards, me saying that, but you get my point. Uh, Whereas, like, we'll do this real quick. What I was talking about, those two logos up against each other look really good. They've played in the Super Bowl against each other twice, and I think they're both patriotic logos, but I do think that they face each other perfectly, and that's one of the matchups that I do like a lot. Seeing they accent each other very well. They're very symmetrical. So, and then like I said, the team around here that's copying that, I don't know how they're getting away with it, but Steelers I do like a lot. It's very unique. It's not something you'd ever think to make. I feel like there's a reason behind it. So there's the three symbols. I've heard multiple things. I don't know if they're both right or one or whatever. But what I've heard is both of these, so I'll say them both. Well, one is it's because Pittsburgh has three rivers that intersect at what's called the Point, and that's the Monongahela, Allegheny, and Ohio River, I think. And so they did that, and so that's why all of them intersect into the word Steelers. But I also have heard that it's because of the steel industry, the colors of what they used was like that gold, that red, and I don't. That stands for like a particular like mineral or something. I've never really looked it up. I guess I could, just because I guess why not. So it's yellow lightens your work, orange brightens your leisure, and blue widens your world. That's not what I heard, but okay. I've heard it's the rivers. I don't feel like you get my point. Yeah, there's a reason that I've never heard that before, but it's interesting if that's true. Either way. Next, San Francisco 49ers. Kind of the same as the Raiders and the Jets, whereas, like, I don't know what they could do with it to make it better, and I don't hate it, and it is a good logo, so I'm going to put it there. I do think the colors make it a little bit better than the Jets. Although I don't love as weird as it sounds, I've never loved red and gold together, but it works well for them. But I don't think that's a color combination that normally works well. So, I think that's one of the few exceptions. Seahawks, I think, is a very good logo. That I saw this. That I don't know if this is real or somebody just made this. Where is it? This. I don't like that, and I hope that's not real. That they're not changing it, or if that's just some alternate thing. Oh yeah, it says unveil new alternate. That's okay, but I don't like it more. This is interesting. I think this is what they either used to be, or maybe it's different. I do like that still. I think getting rid of the gray and making that white would be cool, but I still think this is probably a little bit better. Um, I do like that green though in the back. So I don't know. I'd have to see it, but either way, that's a good logo. I don't think of a Seahawk as an intimidating bird when it comes to my mind, at least. But right there, that's one of the more intimidating logos. I think that and the Eagles are probably the more intimidating bird logos. Um, and then Titans, I would put up there also because I do really like it. That logo, I have no idea if those stars mean anything. The only reason I know the Steelers is because I live here, and I never heard that lightens your work thing, and I don't look at that as orange. That's red to me. Um, I'm even looking at the logos around my room, and that they're not orange. So I don't know. That can't be right. But if it is, I've just never heard it. Anyway, I think that's a shield with a T on it. I don't know. It's Titans, but I don't know if that's supposed to be a shield. What is that supposed to be? But I love the flames coming off of it. Uh, I do like the Oilers logo that they were the Houston Oilers, became the Tennessee Titans, and then they remade it. They put another team in Houston, and they became the Houston Texans. So, yeah, I do like that logo a lot. Definitely, I think one of the more unique ones. Buccaneers, really good logo, and I'm in the minority here, but I really like I might not be in the minority. I don't know. I have a very strong fondness of this. I don't know why. I don't think it's like if I'm objectively looking at it, I don't think it's better than the flag. But my personal preference, I don't know why I like those colors. I think that's honestly it. I just like the orange and the red together. I can't wait to see those creamsicle jerseys. I'll pull them up here. Those are probably my favorite jerseys ever. I I don't know why. I just like them. Well, maybe not the older because the older orange seemed a little bit dull. These newer ones, they brighten them up a little bit, and I think it's much better. Like I don't know, I just really like that. Um, Either that or the Bengals' last like set of jerseys that was the orange as the primary. So I'm looking forward to seeing those. I have not seen those ever since. I think they've brought them back every once in a while, but I've never actually like watched the game where they've been played. Whereas I think they're going to be used a little bit more, and I still think that they've got a great logo with that flag. I don't think they've had a bad logo. So any of the like four kind of they've tweaked the flag a little bit here and there, but every time I think it's pretty much even. You could tell if you told me you liked even the older flag, I'd say yeah, I get that. If you like this flag, or if you're like me and you just like that creamsicle, just Buccaneer with the knife in his mouth, I think they're all good. And then I'm going to end it with Washington, and I want to mention this. So it is in C, because this is kind of interesting here. I have a friend whose whole family is Native American. They're both Native American and French, I believe. But he's very Native American. He goes to I think they're called powwows. He's very involved with his family's Native American heritage. Him and his family were always Redskins and Chiefs fans. But then and he never found it offensive. He was someone though that he's like, I never got really offended by anything you tell me anyway. So you could call me the most derogatory thing, but he's like, the term Redskin to me never offended me. He's like, so he looked at it as more of just a term, and it was just more of a Native American thing, and no one like called him offensively a Redskin or anything. So to him, that term was just the name of the football team, and so he loved the logo, and he didn't have a problem with the name, but he thought, and I agree with him on this, um, that if you want to change the name, he's like, okay, whatever, that's fine. But the logo, he said, and I honestly, I love this logo. This was probably my favorite logo. Uh, I don't personally find anything upsetting about it, but I'm not someone that gets. I'm like him. I don't get upset by literally anything. So you you could tell me that whatever you were upset by, if you were someone that was, and I'd understand. Like, okay, if at least I'll say if you're Native American, you get upset by that. If you're anything else, I feel like I don't know why. I don't want to get like political, but I'll just leave it at that and just say he thought keep the logo and change the name. And we were just talking about names, and I came up with if you keep that logo in the Washington Warriors because they are going to change their name again for the Commanders apparently. I think keeping that logo and changing the name is perfectly fine. Now, I didn't get in. I never like looked up why it was supposedly offensive. I purposely never wanted to because I just like to avoid politics as a whole. So I just wanted to briefly mention that logo because honestly, it was probably my favorite. Um, I actually would say now that I'm looking at all these, I think it was a great logo personally. I don't want anyone to say anything about it towards me because I'm just going to delete the comment. But, if you want to say, like, I agree with you, that's fine, but don't go into or, like, even if you say I disagree with you, just don't go into some political rant because, like, I'm not political at all and I don't care. Um, but anyway, moving on to what it is now, I think it's better than these two, but it's still a W. And I feel like the reason for both of us why the logo at least should remain because you lost the identity of the team and you feel like you lost the history of the team when you lost the logo. If you had to lose one of them, we get the name. But he thought that it was disappointing that he lost a Native American. He thought it was more honoring than disrespectful. But he's like, okay, if there's people that find it disrespectful, fine, get rid of the logo. Or get rid of the name, keep the logo. And he was more a Redskins fan, and his dad's a Chiefs fan. And now he's like, well, I guess I kind of have to be a Chiefs fan, but he's not as big of a. He's like, I don't really like to watch football now. He's like, I really liked that. He's like, I liked the logo and I liked the name, and he's like, I liked everything about their colors. And like, now it's like, he's like, I don't really have a favorite team. He's like, I cheer for the Chiefs out of more of because his dad's a Chiefs fan. So, yeah, I hope that made sense. And I wanted to get into that really quick just because I wanted to come from someone's perspective who is Native American, and he's very Native American. I'm not even, like, it's not even a question. So his name is Cheveo. So I don't know what that means let's look it up. And he's going to, I'm sure, watch this because he told me he would. He told me what his name means in Native American. Spirit Warrior. So he's named after, obviously, something Native American. So his name's not like my name, Paul. Like, that's not Native. You know what I mean? Like, he's got heritage that he's coming from a perspective of, hey, this isn't disrespectful. That's me. I know a lot of Redskins fans, or now Commanders fans, were upset about that and still want the name and logo back. I don't think that'll ever come back. But if they brought back the logo, whoever was upset about it, I'm curious if that would be okay. That's all I'm saying. I'm done in now with my little rant. But here's my S through D. Those are probably my top 5. And then after that, it's kind of just however you want to throw it. And I really don't hate any of them. S through B, they're all pretty good. C, I'm not even saying they're bad. I just think there's something about each that I don't love. And D, I think you could really do better. That's really all. Like I don't think any of them are straight up bad logos. So um, that's my ranking. I'll do the NHL next because my favorite logo in all sports is in NHL, and I'd love to talk about that one. Unfortunately, well, I'll just spoiler. It's the Blackhawks logo, and that's his favorite. He lives in Chicago, but it's my favorite logo because I just like the design of it. Um, but either way, I think it's a great logo. I just kind of have a liking, I guess, to Native American like looking logos. So either way, yeah. Thanks for watching. If you did, sorry for the political rant there. if you consider that, it's more of to me a football rant that unfortunately got involved or politics got involved. But either way, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Let me know if you want to see any other sports, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.